Hello, hello, hello. It's another dark episode for February the 3rd. Um, okay, well, today was easier at work, possibly because of echoes from ramifications and results of actions taken on work the day before. So I'll just leave that there. So that went smoothly from my perspective. Um, I finished 10,000 Doors of January, and I think it's going to be one of those books I argue with, which is fine, which is good. That's a good thing with the book, and I can examine my reactions, to it, and see if I can't, articulate them and parse them and come up with something to say. I'm, of course, probably struggling today to come up with something to say about Great Gatsby that hasn't been said 10,000 times before, which I think I will inevitably fail at, but I will give it a shot. There might be something in there about how it's another one of these books that's going to talk to kids about how youth culture is hollow and vapid, and you should abandon that. Could be a little bit of that in there. That why is the Great Gatsby used in classrooms? Is it a way of elders hectoring their materialistic young people about the evils of capitalism? We'll see. We'll see. I'm really happy with my little private film festival that I'm doing this year of finding interesting movies and just watching them. Sometimes breaking them up a little bit over the week, but still getting a little bit of of film culture into my life, which is nice because you know I I I I want to be part of that process, that conversation, even though it's just a conversation with myself talking about these films after I've watched them. Um, just because I really enjoy listening to other people talk about them, and it's a lot like book reviews and listening to people talk about books. It's like, okay, here's another art form, visual art form, where you can go into it. It's interesting with like Crip Camp. Um, they had the really valuable thing of like being able to do a documentary about these activists, disability activists who came out of this camp where they actually had footage. Like it's like the big thing is that this kind of hippie kind of camera crew went to the camp and interviewed and filmed these people. So there was footage of them and them talking, and you got to see these people at that time. And then you get news footage and stuff like that, and interviews as they go forward, as they become prominent public figures. And then just also just doing present day kind of interviews with people. So um, you know it's interesting just watching what kind of you know for a documentary you need the footage, and and this is historical documentary, this is going back from like the 70s, 80s, 90s forward. You need footage from each one of those things. I mean, I think someone like Ken Burns probably has dramatic readings and like black and white photographs to be able to kind of tell the story of the Civil War. Um, Photography having become a thing, so you can tell that story then. I mean, I guess then you get earlier than that, you get to dramatic reenactments, or is it all talking heads? So it's interesting just looking at the documentary form and like how how certain stories are able to be told this way, whereas, you know, other ones might be more might work better as a book, as a book form, like nonfiction books. Not, you know, they're dealing with documents, but you can get people telling stories that way using the documents as their basis, which, you know, you can't film documents. So, and you can get a little bit more nuance, you can get bit more interpretation. Um, you know, so yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm enjoying that of getting that other art form into my life, back into my life a bit more. Not just strictly entertainment, which is sometimes, you know, understandably, um, my other viewing partner maybe not so much. And, you know, to be honest, myself, if I don't push myself, I just maybe slide into just watching, you know, comedies and superhero action movies, and which are, you know, also can be great art forms and art as themselves, but, you know, trying to get a little bit more challenging stuff. You know, and Crypt Camp being something where it was talking about, you know, a field that it's for me, it's like professionally, I, I, I'm, I'm supporting people with disabilities every day. So it's an important kind of thing of like, um, you know, sometimes you can kind of fall into the rhythm of, this is my job, I need to get this certain number of things done during the day. And you can lose sight of, hey, there's an actual reason I'm doing this, and that's to actually kind of interact with other human beings one on one, and hopefully help them, um, you know, help them figure out how to live um, rich, full lives, um, you know, happy lives, happy, you know, as happy as all us human beings can be. So yeah, I've kind of slipped back into more reviewing Crypt Camp again, but yeah, it's still, it's in my head there, which is great. Great. That's the thing about art. It gets in your head. Just like Thousand Doors of January's gotten into my head, having finished that. Though I probably do a review on that quicker. I will do a review of that fairly quick before it falls out of my head again, because I think it might be one of those books that, because it didn't engage with me in some ways, I won't stick with me. Um, yes, and so yeah, I got home and Ja was already in bed asleep, so it's just me and the doodle. So I'm gonna sit up in the living room and read The Birthday Boys and have my snack, and then my butt off to get my butt off to bed, and go from there. Go from there. Try and get good hunks of Birthday Boys done, because, good Lord, next month is the March of the Mammoth, where theoretically I'm gonna, I'm considering maybe reading Don Quixote, or making a good sizable dent in Don Quixote in March. That's the thought. That's the thought for March. Oh boy. Uh, yeah, yeah. I had it in my 20 books, in my the booktube spin of, like, you know, oh, randomly it could have fallen on Don Quixote this month. But now I'm thinking, like, oh, February, March. Maybe I'll just make it my March selection. Uh, you know, that would be kind of cool, doing that. So I would take it out of the spin category and just put it in the mammoth category, which Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse, Lukash at formerly Totally Pretentious, but now has a different name, which I think is longer and harder to remember, and Al at Big Al's Books are hosting March of the Mammoth, where you read a mammoth book, which I think is 800 or 900 pages plus, in at least making a fair effort to read it in the month of March, if not in the month of March, just, you know, get a good hunk going. The encouragement being challenging yourself, the big books in your life, and not being, you know, people get intimidated by them, and not not reading big books, which a part of which is not sure. A part of which is there's also kind of the negative thing of booktube and some parts of the reading culture, public reading culture, is you just want to power through as many books as you can in a month, which is definitely a quantity over quality kind of thing. So, but people can be guilty of that because you're just like, oh God, I'm going to devote myself to reading this book for the next 2 months, and I could be reading so many other books, but if it's a great book, it's a great book. And I mean, Don Quixote has definitely got a claim to that, so I'm going to give that a try. All right, more videos later.